Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the contenders for the compound men's gold medal final. Shooting on target number 1, representing the United States of America. Let's hear it for Kris Schaff. Shooting on target number 2, representing the United States of America. World champion in field and target and indoor. More records than you can shake a stick at. It is the Freak Show, Jesse Broadwater. 15 arrows shot.
So we are all set for this compound men's final. Steve Anderson, you shot in it last year. As we take a look at the brackets on how Kris Schaff got past Jesse Clayton, Braden Gillentine. We see Jesse Broadwater getting past some heavy competition. Sergio Pani, Mike Schlosser won it here. Braden Gillentine takes the bronze medal in a shoot-off, but now it's all about the gold between these two American athletes.
Yep, and Kris right now might be the guy who's shooting the best. I think Jesse's never going to be easy to beat, and it all changes when you go from the hall where you're shooting the first rounds into the arena here.
So Schaff shooting a unique bow. I believe that has the Constitution United States all over it.
Yeah, I saw a T-shirt for sale like that at Cabela's once.
I see. Jesse Broadwater.
10.
Yeah.
Interesting note about Jesse Broadwater and his equipment, Steve. I had a chance to speak with him a little earlier before the match, and we had talked about the different arrow diameter, shooting 27s during the Vegas portion and 23s. Usually that means what with your equipment? You have to make adjustments?
Usually you're going to either switch bows or possibly make a little arrow rest movement for the best tune. At the very least, you're going to be sighting in, completely adjusting your sight.
And here's the amazing thing about this archer right there, Jesse, as he misses low with a 9, is that he told me that he worked so hard on getting this TRX 38 from Matthews set up that he doesn't have to change anything. He literally can take an X27 Easton or an Easton X23, put them right in there and shoot them both.
Either one works. So he did a lot of figuring out on length and point weight and a few other things, maybe even fletching angle to make that happen.
Not afraid, not scared of working hard. There's Jesse with a 10. So depending on that 9 asterisk of Kris Schaff, I'll have to see how this scores.
Yeah, I think he's going to have it. I think you're going to see it come in at 29-29, but
yeah,
we'll let the guy who's going to stand an inch away from it make the call.
So Steve, Kris Schaff has been on the scene a little while. He's 25 years old.
Yep.
He's out of Billings. Here's the arrow in question as we take a real close look at it.
Yeah, they got it. They gave it to him.
They gave it to him. Why do you think Kris is all of a sudden on fire like he is?
Hard to say. Sometimes the guy gets something going, has some success at a tournament, and it just kind of snowballs. You can get a feeling, or you find something in your shooting that you feel like you can repeat and helps you make the best shots you can, and you hold on to that, and it just works out. Now you're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have times of consistency and times of inconsistency, but Kris for the last year or so has been one of the top 5 guys in the world for certain.
I think the biggest win for him, one of the biggest, definitely Nîmes, just a couple of weeks ago in France, where he took the gold medal at the indoor archery World Cup.
Yeah, it looks like a low 10 there. We couldn't see the line, but
he goes for a click.
Giving it to him. Yeah, he's moving aside.
If Jesse Broadwater can pull this off, this would be his 3rd in a row. Last year was a huge surprise, I think, Steve, shooting against you. Good 10 for him, because Jesse showed up here with a bow manufacturer change that took a lot of people by surprise. And people thought that it would take him a lot longer to adjust to his new bow that he shot.
Yeah, I needed it to take at least 15 minutes longer than it did, because he gave me a good beating and sent me home.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I have to bring it up, but
it's okay.
Rio filled in for you because you were supposed to be in this seat last year.
I was, asleep in my hotel room when I found out I had made the finals, so it was playing on house money for me too.
Quite a shock. Kris Schaff, that unique style.
Top.
A little out the top.
Yeah, I'm watching these guys shoot through the rounds in the other building and then watching them come in here. There's definitely some nerves that come into play, and the hold isn't quite as tight. You're trying to execute good shots, but neither of them missed an arrow by that much earlier today.
Jesse looked like he held that one a little too long. And Steve, it's difficult when you only have 20 seconds on the clock. It's not 2 minutes for 3 arrows like you have in normal Vegas competition, or even on a 5-spot, 4 minutes. 20 seconds, there's no time really to let down, is there?
Yeah, you can't let down, so you're going to have to go with what you brought the first time, and sometimes you just don't get settled on that target, and you can get a bounce going, and when it gets moving, it's hard to stop.
A good look from behind at Kris Schaff, and you can see a little bit of a shake. You don't know if that's nerves or just typical for him. I mean, usually he holds rock steady.
The best thing to do is watch the very end of their stabilizer. These guys use a long stabilizer, both out the front and the back, and those help them aim. You can adjust the weight on them to help with balance of the bow and adjust the feeling of it in your hand. And you can watch the tip of that stabilizer when they're at full draw and kind of see what's going on with their world.
Stabilization is so critical in all of archery, except bare bow. But when you're dealing with what we deal with here at World Archery. So Kris Schaff will shoot first, even though we're still tied up. Each archer throwing a 9 around.
Probably a 10 after the judges get done with it. But
yeah, that one.
He looks back to Logan Wild is in the coach's box for him. Logan, a great shooter in his own right from the Wild family and an employee of Elite Archery.
Whoop, there it is. 10
Jesse Broadwater. With a little comment from the peanut gallery. So Schaff
having a good time here, right?
Having a good time. Schaff with a little bit of pressure on him, answers with a 10. Now Broadwater, who is just one of the most understated archers, I think, in here. And I asked him earlier, what would it mean to you to win a third one? And he said, it'd be good. and that was it.
Yeah. You don't get a whole lot out of Jesse, but he's as nice a guy as there is. That's a 9 high.
God, another same hole too for that one. Look at Schaff. He's just baffled on that shot.
Yeah, he's not figuring it out quite yet.
No, because that's not a click, because you can kind of see with some of the other shots he's making, they're right in there. So JB now with a chance. And it freak show. Okay.
So it could have a 2-point lead. Probably going to be 1, I think we said.
Yep. Longtime friend Shane Wills in the booth for in the box. Sorry, Steve, go ahead. You were saying?
Oh, you said he's understated, and that's an understatement on his understatedness.
Yeah.
Quiet guy, but a great prankster in his own right.
Yeah, he certainly is. And very entertaining on Facebook, by the way. If you don't follow Jesse on Facebook, you definitely need to check him out.
Well, World Archery asked me earlier in the week who I thought would win the Vegas tournament, and I couldn't pick myself. And these were the 2 I named, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah, and they're 2 of the few that are still remaining clean. Yeah. So I just felt like Jesse's been too quiet for too long. We haven't heard him make much splash here in Vegas for a while, and he's probably due for one. I think his last win in Vegas came in 2011, and I think he's got 2 Vegas wins, which is the penultimate. It's like saying it's like a Super Bowl ring to a point, but there's not any Tom Brady's out there rolling around with 5.
Hello, Tom Brady.
The most I know of is 3.
Yeah, 3. 3 is the record in terms of Vegas wins, which we'll see right here tomorrow night.
Kris with another 9. He's just not finding it right now.
No.
Jesse's got to capitalize here.
9. That's maybe a hair out, but it is out.
So Kris Schaff.
10-9 liner.
We talked about next week, the Indoor World Championship and the team representing the United States.
Yeah, it'll be these 2 plus Tate Morgan, and I don't think anyone slows these guys down. I think it's I would put my Vegas money on these guys winning the team competition.
Absolutely. But here we are for gold medal, the Indoor Archery World Cup Championship again. Good shot by Kris Schaff.
Yeah, it's interesting to note Kris already has probably missed more points in this match than he has the entire
I think you're right.
rounds leading up to it.
Yeah.
He shot really, really solid today. He's just not on track quite yet. Yeah, he missed one going into this.
Yeah. Missed one. When Steve means one, that means he missed 1 point out of 450.
Yeah, out of 45 arrows.
Yeah, out of 45 arrows, 450 points available. Kris Schaff only missed 1 point. So, you know, listen, you were here last year. You understand what the stage can do to you. You know, this is an arena of which you shoot during the course of the day for the Vegas shoot. But they break this thing down and they put the lights on from overhead, and it's a totally different place.
Right.
And it's an absolute packed arena here.
I compare it to when you're shooting qualification or shooting without the pressure of this medal match and on this final stage.
Yep.
It's almost like driving 70 miles an hour down the freeway, you know, with no one around you. And then you come in here, and now you're trying to drive 80 miles an hour down a one-lane road, and sometimes it's a dirt road filled with gravel on it, you know, so it gets a little sketchy. But that's just kind of what you see through the lens, what you're looking at downrange, and you got to do your best to cope with it. And that's where you know the aim is going to go away, so you've got to retain that shot execution to get through these.
Oh, you can see that Rio Wild, who's won many of these in world archery competitions, is the minder for Kris Schaff, and that's a team effort there. And you saw that when Rio found out the score, he turned around and gave the thumbs up to Kris.
Yeah,
you
that's
can see the confirmation of that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do that. You need to give the thumbs up if you're the one who's playing arrow agent.
Yep, absolutely. So a 1 point game here. 2 points, sorry, 2 point game. That's interesting.
10.
Yep, so Schaff answers, so.
Yeah, he had the 9-star, 9, and 10 on the last one, so that makes sense. We're sitting at 2, and
now if Jesse can nail a 10 here.
9.
I don't know. Yeah, it looks a little low.
Tied unofficially.
Yeah, I mean, Kris right here knows he absolutely has to have a 30. There's no way Jesse misses 3.
Yep.
10.
There it is. And this is it. Final arrow for Kris Schaff. He's got to drill this one if he's got a chance in this gold medal match.
10.
And he does.
Right in the middle.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, he found his aggressiveness there, I'd say. You know, he was probably being a little timid, trying to over-aim the first 4 ends.
10 to win for Jesse Broadwater. Boom! We're going to a shoot-off. Wow. Ooh. All right, so Steve Anderson, we are going to a shoot-off. Explain that.
So, World Archery shoot-off rules, it's going to be shot at the middle face. So there's targets 1, 2, and 3. They're going to shoot the second one down.
They'll give him a fresh target.
Yep, fresh target. If it's not an obvious winner who's closest to center, they will take a measurement. If it's still indeterminable, they will go to another shoot-off arrow, and that happens from time to time on the compound side now. So
it's that final shot for Jesse Broadwater.
Yeah,
he had it all to win right here.
It's not the way to go into a one-arrow shoot-off. You don't want to be the one who didn't find center, especially where Kris's last arrow was perfectly inside out. He's going to be hoping to do that again, put it on repeat. And Jesse's got to kind of find that shot.
Well, the telltale sign of the match, you can see they tied up after the first 2 ends, and then Jesse Broadwater took a 1-point lead, then a 2-point lead, but that 28 with Kris's perfect 30. That's why we sit at 146. So Jesse Broadwater on his way into this gold medal match shot a 149, 149, 148. So here we go. This is it. All the pressure right now. Closest to the center will take home gold.
Yeah.
Will it be Kris Schaff or a third for Jesse Broadwater?
Kris will shoot first here. So it goes back to the very original shooting order they started the match with. Some guys like to go first, some guys like to follow it. has its advantages either way.
Boom.
Half
All
shaft
right.
10. So
Half shaft 10.
it's very beatable, but it's a good arrow. I think he's got it.
It might go to Jesse. Yeah, Jesse Broadwater. They've done a lot of archery in their days, and they know. Jesse Broadwater hung that one up high.
Yeah,
here's a good comparison side by side. Steve, make the call.
Yeah, it's Jesse. Yeah. There we go.
Wow. So Jesse Broadwater with the hat trick wins his 3rd Indoor Archery World Cup Championship here in Las Vegas. So Jesse Broadwater makes his way through the brackets through Chris Perkins, who's been on fire as of late, Sergio Pagny and Mike Schlosser, and takes down Kris Schaff in a 1-arrow closest to the center shoot-off. Congratulations to Jesse Broadwater. That was an awesome match. And a final look at the final arrow that wrapped it up for Jesse Broadwater.
Yeah, and Chris, like we said, he had a good one in there, but it was beatable, and Jesse made it happen.